what a man can do, a woman can do better. I'm sure you've heard that saying before. And some people say it's a man's world. Oh, it's a woman's world. But really, it should be an equal world. Welcome to the 2024 Gender Conference, themed Gender Equality at Crossroads, Accelerating Progress, basically. Hosted by the Faculty of Law, University of Lagos. Let's go.
Many distinguished persons, ladies and gentlemen. So please, I recognize us all, the students of University of Lagos, the gentlemen and ladies of the press, all the professors here present. In particular, I recognize Professor Solomon Akimboye. I recognize everyone, and I now go straight to the welcome address and opening remark of the Dean of Law. And what is this discourse that has brought us all here together today? The discourse is a simple one. The one on humanness. How do we deal with the question that is an integral part of humanity? Masculinity and feminism.
In 2022, Nigeria ranked 123rd out of 146 countries on the World Gender Gap Report with a score of 0.639. That's a fact. Economic participation. Women's labor force participation rate is 56% compared to 80% of men. So the disparity is there. 56 to 80% is a clear gender imbalance. Wage gap. Women earn 45% less than men in similar roles. All you have to do is to look at the weekend football that we watch. You know, English Premier League, they earn silly money, but their women counterparts don't earn comparative amount of money.
Hi everyone, my name is Professor Blessing Anyukwa, the Deputy Dean of Students, University of Lagos.
I'm Mrs. Fakolade Eunice Omanike.
Good afternoon, my name is Opananozechi Emelie.
Yes, I'm looking forward to know that women and men, they are equal.
I believe that there should be fairness among both, gender. There should be understanding amongst both gender. I think that's the way we would move forward, other than dragging about who must be equal with another. I think that's my take.
Gender equality involves both men and women, and I was here for the prelude yesterday, and we started with one task, so where we the men were told to raise up our hands, our right hands, and we're told to clap, and we clapped.
And then clap with just one hand.
Yes.
And
So what does
do it.
we couldn't do it? So what does that imply?
It means you need both genders.
Exactly. So that's my answer.
That's it.
We believe in the power of collaboration, partnering with governments, partnering with civil society, educational institutions, and private sectors to create sustainable solutions that uplifts and empower every individual. As we all know, gender equality is crucial to the achievement of the United Nations Sustainable Development Goal.
Political representation. Women are underrepresented in politics, with only 21 women out of 469 members of the National Assembly. So let's clap again for Honorable Valilat Obara for being one of those representing us. Mrs. Awoshemuse, please stand up for recognition. She took me through a lot of education. She was one of those that were in the Ministry of Justice that were the first respond to any gender violence reported. And of course, we thank God that with the help of the UNDP, the Office of the First Lady, she's here, Engineer Tamono Minini Makide, was able to get a violence referral center, Abioma, they call it. So if there is violence, you are able to, And then, of course, in my capacity as Attorney General, we were able to overhaul all the laws relating to gender violence, violence against persons.
Likewise, it has been shown that empowering women spurs productivity and economic growth. However, there is still a long way to go to achieve full equality of rights and opportunities between men and women. The Universal Declaration of Human Rights, a cornerstone of international human rights law, enshrined gender equality as a fundamental right. Adopted by the United Nations General Assembly in 1948, this landmark document proclaimed, and I quote, "All human beings are born free and equal in dignity and rights, and that everyone is entitled to all the rights and freedoms set forth in this declaration, without distinction of any kind, such as race, color, sex, language, religion, birth, or status." End of quote.
Actually, when you talk about gender equality, you see that God has created us both as male and female, and we all have complementary roles to play. So nobody should be denied the opportunity of, playing your role and achieving your purpose in life as God has ordained it. So we need to empower ourselves, either you are a woman or a man, even though we are in a patriarchal, society. Yes. That's why the women are relegated to the background. But in recent times, you see that women are making waves. They are becoming professionals both in health, in banking, all spheres of life. And this goes a long way to tell us that what men can do, women can also do it.
You have what it takes to be a pilot, and you also have what it takes as a man to be a nurse if you want to be, or even a cook if you feel like being. So gender equality is not just about women, it's also about men having a role to be a beautician, to do hair, you know what I mean?
Yes, I do.
So that's what it is.
So it's easy for us to, stay sassy and cool in the modern areas and feel like, what is this financial inclusion about? After all, women have access, men have access. So with having much of the population in Africa, particularly in Nigeria, in rural areas, which are largely agrarian, what that means is that a large population of women are underfunded, they are underwhelmed financially, and they do not even know what's possible. What's possible in terms of insurance, what's possible in terms of pension. The things that you and I, we talk about and we used to plan our wealth generation transfer and all of that.
Thank you very much for those interventions regarding women's economic empowerment. I think the conclusion we can draw from here is that it's not just about access to funding or access to credit alone. It also has to do with training, with education, with opening women up to some of the possibilities out there.
We need to support policies that enable women to balance family responsibilities with career aspirations such as affordable childcare and flexible working conditions. While challenges remain, there is cause for hope. Where we are today is far from where we were 2 decades ago. By working together across sectors, law, governance, health, and education, we can accelerate progress and create a future where women are equal participants and contributors to national and global development.
The House of Representatives has taken bold steps in this regard. As chair of the Committee on Constitutional Review, the Deputy Speaker is the chairman on Constitutional Review. I am proud to lead efforts to advance gender justice through legislative reforms. Among the initiatives is the proposed bill for an act to alter the provisions of the Constitution to provide for special seats reservation for women in the national and state houses of assembly. Today, as we discuss the crossroads at which gender equality stands, let us commit to being the catalyst for change. Let us ensure that Nigeria's legislative chambers reflect the diversity of its people and harness the talents and potentials of all its citizens. Together, we can accelerate progress and build a nation where every individual, regardless of gender, has an equal voice in shaping our future.
We must also continue to raise our voices against all forms of gender-based violence and discrimination, fostering a culture of respect and dignity for all. We must join hands together as a nation to let go of social cultural norms and system structure promoting inequality in our society, especially sexual and gender-based violence.
The Gender Conference 2024 is here to distill, draw on the notions, the voices of society, in order to do one thing, to help society, to help the policy makers to formulate the right policies, the policies that will bring cohesion, development at both the micro and macro levels of our society. And what is unique about this conference on gender is that it is driven by a man. It is driven by the great professor, we call him the golden professor, the golden dean. Is driven by Professor Oyewo Oyelowo, SAN.